Good morning to all our viewers. The Italians announcing their arrival in the Euros with a bang, beating Turkey 3 goals to nil, and that showed the Italian domination yesterday. It was a cracker of a game, but today we have three amazing games on our hands. So let's not waste any time and move to the first game. Wales versus Switzerland. Two of these teams they don't make you go like wow what a playing 11 or something like that. But they have got some great promising players, and as a squad they've been really brilliant. These two. So Sid, welcome to the show once again. What are your
Thank
thoughts,
you,
Sid,
Yash.
on these two teams, and how do you think they will go about this tournament?
Yeah, so absolutely. As you said, unspectacular teams on paper, but they do individually have brilliant players. Okay. So if I start off with Wales, the last Euros was their debut in the European Championships, but
Yes.
what a tournament they had. They were the dark horses and they went all the way to the semis, right? So
Yeah.
it was like an amazing tournament for them. And the next match as well will have a similar story, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
The Wales failed to score a single goal in their two friendly fixtures that were against France and Albania. So they are a
Yeah.
little iffy coming into this match. But Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey were on the score sheet the last time these two nations met, that too back in 2011. So that just shows the amount of experience these two players have for the Wales national team. I mean, 10 years and they're just reaching their 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I go to Switzerland, they're a more rounded team. Switzerland have been in great form coming into this match and have topped their qualifying group. That too without one of their main players, Shaqiri.
Yeah.
So that in itself it was a feat for them. And they've continued their winning streak across all competitions with a 2-1 win against the USA and a 7-0 thrashing of neighbours Liechtenstein in the warm-ups.
Yeah.
So they have a little more of confidence while they're coming into this match. Okay, and now they're unbeaten in their last 6 games. So that is a confidence booster for Switzerland. Okay, and Switzerland have only made it out of the group stage on one of their last 4 European Championships, and that was in the last Euros. So this
Wow.
time they want to go one step further, or preferably all the way. But let's see how that goes.
So definitely. Being a
Yeah,
Swiss fan, if anyone is here, they would want
yeah,
Switzerland to do well. And Shaqiri is back. He has been out and in the Liverpool squad. So everyone would be wanting to get a glimpse of him. And we all know what he did last time around in the Euros with that lovely scissor kick,
absolutely.
and it was the goal of the tournament as well. So a lot of eyes on some players to watch out for. So who are your players to watch out for in today's game?
So for me, in the Wales team, obviously Bale and Ramsey are the stalwarts over there and are going to be the backbone for them. Okay, Bale from
Yes.
an attacking standpoint and Ramsey through the center. But Ramsey has had a few injury concerns over the last 2 seasons with Juventus and has been in and out of the team. So it will be good to see how he copes in the Wales national team. And another player from the Wales team that I think will play an important role will be Connor Roberts, their right back. So he's an
Yeah.
attacking fullback and puts in a lot of crosses. So hopefully we can see another Bale, bicycle like we saw in the Champions League final. Okay, and while we come to the Swiss team, their captain Xhaka will be an integral part. Being at the base of the midfield, he sprays these long balls for their forwards. So
Yes.
that is going to be an integral part of how the Swiss team shapes up. Okay, and his partner Remo Freuler, okay, the Atlanta CM, has been in great form in the Italian league as well. So these two are going to form an important partnership, and obviously Shaqiri, from an attacking standpoint, will want to contribute a lot more, going forward. And if we
So
talk
Sid,
about the match, yeah,
yes.
the two
Please go on.
teams have squared off 7 times across all competitions till date. The Swiss winning
Oh,
5 and the Welsh winning 2. So there is a certain advantage to the Swiss national team.
there is. There is. And also, that's the history between these two teams and the
Yeah,
present as well. Like recently, like you said, they won 7-0 against one of the
yeah,
teams. So they have this, confidence on back of their, you know, of their experience. And now, speaking of Xhaka, the experience that he brings to this side, I've heard he's the most capped player in this side currently playing for Switzerland and
absolutely.
also playing for Arsenal. And the stalwarts that these two are, even Gareth Bale for a matter of fact. What do you have to say
Yeah.
about the impact that these two get as experienced campaigners and as legendary players for their respective countries?
So a lot of weight on their shoulders. Gareth Bale, obviously, over the last few seasons, he's had a few iffy moments at Real Madrid. He's come on loan to Tottenham, didn't play a lot, but towards the end of the campaign, he showed the quality that he has. So everyone's going to be wary of him. And Xhaka, Jose Mourinho's targeting him from Roma, right? He says, like said in one of his interviews, that Xhaka may not be spectacular on the eye, but his off-the-ball movement, his balls that are straightforward, are a great utility to the team and a great weapon. So that is why even the special one is targeting him. So that says a lot about Xhaka, even though Arsenal fans might not agree.
that is true. Arsenal fans might not agree, but these two teams. What do you think? How would they go about? Because they are not known for being extremely attacking or like a very defensive side like Italy. They are somewhere moderate, and they play according to the opposition because they are not very experienced at the international level. So what do you think is going to be the scorecard, or can you give me something about the game today?
So just looking at the history and the form that they're coming in with, I would say that Switzerland has the edge and will have a narrow victory over the women's national team.
And any specific goal scorer that you can predict?
No, so I think Embolo, the Swiss striker, might have one goal in him. Okay, and of course Shaqiri. Let's see, and you can never rule out Bale.
Yes, you can never rule out Bale, and he can do anything. For Tottenham, he has scored goals for fun in the 90 minutes or 89 minutes against Villa and West Ham. So he scored from the outside the box. So anything can happen when Bale is there, and he's sure in good form against Tottenham. So it will be a cracker of a game, and I want to see this game first. Now moving on to the second game, Sid. It is Denmark versus Finland. So Denmark versus Finland. If you look at the Denmark squad, you might see a lot of Ajax players. You might see a lot of players who you have heard of or seen. So what do you have to say about this team, the Denmark side, the quality that they have in them? Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I think Denmark comes into the Euros as one of the dark horses, and will have aspirations of justifying that tag with a strong run starting today.
Yes.
Okay, they have been in good form over the last 9 months with victories over England, Sweden, and a credible draw against Germany last week, in fact.
Yes.
So they are in good form. Okay, and the Danes have a well-rounded squad, in my opinion, and will be intent on giving Belgium a run for their money in Group B.
In this group, Belgium are the favourites to top the table, obviously.
Absolutely.
But the second spot is up for grabs. And you speak of Finland as well. There's this player, Teemu Pukki. We all have heard of him. Plays for Norwich City. He was a top scorer for them and is a top scorer for Finland as well. You think this man will be the X factor for Finland because he has scored a lot of goals in the qualifying campaign. I saw a couple of highlights as well. The way he dribbles past the defenders, he's just brilliant. So, any thoughts on him and how impactful will he be for this side?
So with Teemu Pukki, the thing about him is he has fared well for Norwich in the lower leagues, so League One and the championships. But last year in the Premiership, when he was there, he did perform well initially, but then tended to fade out. So I want to see how he develops here in this tournament. A lot of weight on his shoulders for the Finnish national team. And while talking about Finland, it's interesting to know that this is a special afternoon for them because they are participating in a major footballing tournament for the first time in their history. Okay. So Finland have not fared too well, having secured only a single win since that one victory over Bulgaria in November. So they're a little short on confidence, but the expectations and the energy that they'll have with the first major footballing tournament that they have, that gives you an extra push as a team. So let's see how they perform, going into this match.
Definitely, and these two are known to be rivals. The Denmark and
absolutely.
So once they go against each other, there will be no love lost. And I've got a stat here that around 59 games have been played among them, in which Denmark have won over 38 games. So they have dominated the more, the larger half of the career in which they played against each other. And Finland have just won 10 or 11 odd games. So it's going to be a very competitive match because Finland would, want to get back on track. And the first time that they're playing a major championship, they will really want to set a platform for them, don't you think?
Yes. Absolutely. So Finland has the extra motivation, of history as well as the first participation in a tournament. But the only advantage that Denmark has right now, okay, if it is to counter all of this, is the home advantage. This match is going to be happening in Copenhagen. Okay, and the Danes have not lost 21 home games against the Finns since
Wow.
1949. So that goes way back.
What a stat. What a stat.
And the last time they did play in this stadium was back in 2003, and it was a draw. So, a tussle and a tough match, but I think the Danes are going to take this.
I like it that you've come up with, some impeccable stats, and it's really interesting, sitting here as a host, getting to know all these things. It's amazing that Denmark haven't lost in last 21 outings. That gives them a lot of, the edge over Finland in this encounter. But
Yeah.
speaking of Denmark, you have to talk about Christian Eriksen, and that man who is the top scorer for his country. He's been brilliant. He's been amazing. He's the most capped player as well. What do you have to say
Yes.
about him? Not a great season domestically, but internationally he's done really well in the last World Cup as well.
Yeah, domestically, yes, he did win the Syria with Inter, but
Yeah.
he didn't play as much as he'd want to. But he's going to be an integral part of this Denmark team, and they're going to fashion their play around him. But just speaking about the players that are going to be in this match, there are going to be several players to watch out for.
If you don't know Sid, I mean I need to tell this. This something
Yeah.
that I know is that Denmark have won the Euros once in the year 1992. Most people might not
Yes.
know this, but this is something that they hold over the other countries. So that's a brilliant experience to have, or a brilliant thing to have on the back of your of your experience. And now speaking of the goal scorers, who do you think, what will be the score and who will be the goal scorers?
So I think Yusuf Poulsen will be one of the major goal scorers for Denmark, not only today but in the tournament as well. Okay, and he's going to be supplied by Christian Eriksen, and one of the main people who are going to be supporting them is going to be Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, okay, the Tottenham midfielder.
Yes.
Absolutely. And for Finland going forward, of course, Timo Pukki, we've all known, is going to be the main person, or the focus is going to be on him during all their matches. But
Yeah.
supporting him will be Glenn Kamara and Tim Sparv, their CDM. Okay, so from midfield, these are the two players who will be supporting him with a lot of balls for him to attack.
Is this the same Glenn Kamara from Fulham? Because I've heard his name. It rings a bell.
No, it's a different Glenn Kamara.
Oh, okay.
He was an ex-Arsenal youngster and now in the Scottish League.
Okay, fantastic then. So that's it for the second game. What's the scoreline? You didn't predict the scoreline. Who's gonna score? What's going the scoreline? Everyone's gonna score or what?
So I predict a 2-0 win for the Danes.
Good one. 2-0 win for the Danes it is. So quickly wrapping it up, moving on to the third game, and that's the best of the lot. I feel it's Belgium versus Russia. So the number one team in the world, the Belgian squad, with in-form Romelu Lukaku, coming back in the team is Eden Hazard, and Kevin De Bruyne is still a bit iffy about his injury, and playing against Russia, the hosts of the previous World Cup, and they are also one of the dark horses, I might say. If not dark horses, they are a very underrated team. They're a very good unit.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this game and the magnitude of this game that is going to take place today?
Absolutely. So Belgium, as we all know, number one rated team in the world, but also to support that, Belgium won 100% of their games in the Euro qualifying campaign. So that is an amazing stat. Okay, and they've conceded only 3 goals in the 10 games. So it was the joint best defensive record, as we had discussed yesterday with Turkey.
Turkey,
And so Belgium definitely have the talent to win this Euros, but a lot of it could depend on how they adjust to the absences of some key players. Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, and Axel Witsel, 3 of their mainstays are currently nursing injuries.
Yeah.
So they will not be featuring today in St. Petersburg, but during the tournament we'll have to see how they are integrated into the team. And a lot of pressure on the Belgian team as well for the golden generation. Okay, they are now matured. They're the number one ranked team in the world. But the question is still, can they step up and deliver the goods? Because in the last Euros, they unceremoniously exited against Wales itself in the quarterfinals.
Yes. Brilliant.
And speaking about Russia, they are heading into the goal game as the underdogs. No one's doubting that. But they will be determined not to lose at St. Petersburg, their home nation and home stadium. And that
Yeah.
impressive World Cup quarterfinal run back in 2018 just proves that they should not be underestimated on home soil.
Not even a bit. They are a very good side.
Yeah.
But speaking of Belgium, they are the number one side in the world, but they don't have any major silverware to back their claim, that they're the number one side. They just won a lot of good games, but they failed to capitalize in the end. Like in the World Cup as well, they lost to France in the end. So
Sorry.
it was very disappointing being a Belgian fan. I personally love Belgium and how they play the football that they play. I really like it, the attacking football. And winning against Japan was, it was like a dream, winning in the last minute. But then losing to France
Correct.
was a bit disappointing. Now coming here, there are a lot of expectations from this Belgian side. And with Kevin De Bruyne today on the bench, but still the form that he's been in the whole season with Manchester City and winning the Premier League and coming in the finals of the UCL, it's going to bring a lot of experience to the team. And also, there's a question for you, Sid. Do you think they have the defense to win this tournament? Because Belgium are always known for attack and goal scoring with Lukaku, the Carrascos and the Hazards. But the defense is the main question. What are your thoughts on the back four and the back line?
So one of the most capped players, Jan Vertonghen,
Yes.
is going to be an integral part, as well as his ex-Tottenham teammate, Alderweireld. So they're going to form a core centre-back team. But for me, the concern is the wing backs. Okay, so they don't have an experienced left back. I think they'll be using Carrasco as a left wing back and probably get an extra third centre back in. So let's see how they set up today, and we'll have a better idea of their defense then. In goal we have no queries there, right? Courtois, brilliant player for Real Madrid and Chelsea. Yeah.
And, speaking of Sid, I had to ask you this: who is going to be the player to watch out for? Because Belgium has so many players that you can't pick one. That's a given. But in this current
Correct.
lot, who you think are going to be playing in the 11? Who do you think is the player to watch out for? And similarly in the Russian team as well.
Absolutely. So Lukaku, there's no doubts that he's going to be the focal point for Belgium, and a lot of weight on his shoulders. Okay, he scored the most goals for Belgium, and he's way off. There's no one close to him in second as well.
Short
So-
goals he scored for his country.
Yeah, and I think he's 20 odd goals ahead of anyone who's there near him also.
Wow.
And at the same time, if you see the Russian top scorer Dzyuba, he's just one goal off, being the top scorer for his nation. Though,
Or-
he's not exceptional or known outside his country. He plays for Zenit St. Petersburg, but a lot of experience has come through him, and there's a lot of expectations of him in his home country. And speaking about Russia, Yuri Zirkov, the ex-Chelsea left back, brings in a lot of experience, and as we've seen from the graphic earlier, he's the most capped player for him, Russia as well. So a lot of experience is going to be bought in by him, and a lot of expectations of him nurturing and taking that team a bit forward. Another player, if you see in the Russian team, is Andrei Golman. So he emerged in the last Euros, and then his transition to Monaco, and he's been performing well over there.
The
And
players
if
in
I look
Russia,
at
just
Go ahead.
continuing here, the players in Russia, Sid, we haven't heard much of them because we don't follow the Russian league. Probably that's the reason. And Belgium more of because they play the Premier League, the Serie A, and the league,
Right.
something like that. So do you think the Russian team has, because they play together, they are a very good unit. Like we saw in the World Cup as well, they were not short of experience, they were not short of talent at any stage. The Cheryshev goal that I saw, he
Yeah.
was brilliant, and he was linked to Madrid later on. That they would buy him eventually, but it faded out. So do you think these players who are not really known to us as football watchers and football fans, do you think they will make sure that they put a name to themselves, the Russian team, this time around?
I totally agree with you, Yash, because just because they play in their local leagues doesn't mean that they're not known or are incapable. Just look at Sunil Chhetri, our Indian captain, right?
Yes.
Unknown outside for because he plays only in the Indian leagues. He's not been able to go out much, but the second most active goal scorer, correct, right behind Ronaldo. So everyone is going to take this opportunity to put a stamp on themselves, get noticed by other teams.
So pick your winner for today. The last question for the day: who is going to win the game, and what's the score going to be?
So I think it will be a comfortable win for Belgium. maybe 3-0 with Lukaku having a brace.
Yeah, that's very specific. Lukaku having a brace. So that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a given because if Belgium have to score, it has to be Lukaku. Because he is a man
Yeah.
you can't keep him out of the game. Scored 60 goals. He just wants to break records for fun, and he has been doing it in the Serie A as well. So looking at him,
Yeah.
you don't think that he's that quick, Sid? When you look at him, he doesn't look
Yeah.
that quick, but he is very
But
quick.
he is.
Even,
Yeah.
yeah. Even if the days from Everton, I've seen him. The way he used to skip past defenders, he has got that edge over the others. Right?
Yes, definitely. And that's also something that gives him an advantage, right? Centre backs think that they have an extra second, but he just zips past.
Yes, that's true. Being a left footer makes it even better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sid, for joining with me. And I had a
Thank
great
you so much,
discussion
man.
today. Some great stats today from you, and I really loved it that you provided such precise details. I really get impressed when someone gives me some great stats which I don't know. So it's amazing to have you on the show. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. 3 amazing games today. Belgium game, I'm pretty excited for being a Belgian fan myself. So I'll see you tomorrow, Sid. Thank you for joining with me.
Yes.
Thank you.
See
And
you tomorrow.
please keep watching Total Football by Sportsaga.